You won't believe what happened when a single dad veteran opened his door to a gang of bikers in the middle of a raging snowstorm. By the end of this story, you'll understand why sometimes the smallest act of kindness can echo louder than 1,000 words, and why what happened the next morning left an entire town speechless. So before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay till the end, because this story will remind you what real brotherhood and gratitude look like. It was a bitter December night in Montana. The snow was falling so heavy that visibility dropped to almost nothing. John Harris, a former Army medic and single father to an 8-year-old boy named Tommy, was huddled near a flickering fireplace inside their old cabin. The power had gone out hours ago, the radio was dead, and the only sound was the wind howling through the trees. Their small town was 10 miles away, unreachable with the roads buried in snow. John had seen tough winters before, but this one felt mean. He was stacking another log onto the fire when he heard something, the distant rumble of engines. At first, he thought he imagined it. Who could be out riding motorcycles in a snowstorm like this? But the sound grew louder until headlights cut through the whiteout, moving slowly up his long driveway. His heart raced. 15 motorcycles, their riders wrapped in leather and tattoos, the words Hell's Angels shining faintly on their backs. For a moment, John froze. His military instincts kicked in. He grabbed the old shotgun that hung by the door, not out of aggression, but protection. He knew reputation didn't always equal reality, but Hell's Angels weren't exactly known for asking politely. Then came a heavy knock on the door. Anyone home? A voice shouted through the wind. We're freezing out here, man. The highway's blocked. We just need somewhere to wait it out. John looked at Tommy, who was watching with wide eyes from behind the couch. Every protective instinct told him to say no. But another part of him, the soldier, the father, the man who'd been helped by strangers when he needed it most, whispered trust. He took a deep breath, opened the door, and said, "All right. Come in. But leave your trouble outside." One by one, 15 bikers stepped inside, stomping off snow, their faces rough from the cold. The leader, a tall man with a gray beard and a patch that read Rex, nodded respectfully. "Didn't mean to scare you, brother. We're just trying to survive the night." John nodded. "You're safe here. I've got some soup on the stove and a few extra blankets." As the night went on, something unexpected happened. The tough, leather-clad bikers who looked like outlaws slowly turned into just people. They helped bring in firewood, took turns heating water to thaw their hands, and shared stories, real ones, of loss, loyalty, and redemption. Rex told John how most of his crew were veterans too, Marines, Army Rangers, and a few Navy guys. The road was their therapy now, the open air their escape. "You think people like us are bad guys," Rex said, staring into the fire. "Truth is, most of us are just trying to find peace, same as you." John smiled faintly. "Peace is hard to come by. But it's worth fighting for." Tommy, once shy and scared, ended up laughing with the bikers. One of them even made him a tiny leather wristband from his own jacket. For the first time in a long time, John saw his son's eyes light up with joy, the kind he hadn't seen since his wife died 2 years ago. By morning, the snow had stopped. The bikers insisted on clearing John's driveway with their own hands before leaving. They thanked him for his kindness, promised they'd pay it forward, and disappeared down the road, their engines roaring into the distance. John didn't think much of it. To him, it was just the right thing to do. But the next morning, the one that changed everything, he heard that familiar rumble again. He stepped outside, expecting maybe a couple of bikes returning to say thanks. Instead, his jaw dropped. Up and down the long country road, as far as he could see, were motorcycles. Dozens. Hundreds. 102 bikes, lined up in perfect formation. Men and women, all wearing leather vests with the Hells Angels insignia, standing silently in the snow. At the front was Rex, holding a new flag. He stepped forward and said, "You helped 15 of us when no one else would. You gave us warmth, respect, and a roof when you didn't have much yourself. So we're here to give back." They handed John an envelope. Inside was a check, enough money to fix the roof, repair his truck, and set up a college fund for Tommy. But that wasn't what broke him. What broke him was when they handed him a small patch that read, "Honor Rider." Rex said, "Not everyone wears our colors, John. But you've earned this one. You reminded us what brotherhood really means." John tried to speak but his voice cracked. All he could say was, "You didn't have to do this." Rex smiled. "Yeah, we did. You helped us when the world said not to. That kind of man deserves to be honored." That afternoon, as 102 engines roared down his road in a thunderous salute, John stood on his porch holding Tommy's hand, tears freezing on his cheeks, realizing that compassion doesn't choose sides, and kindness always finds its way back home. So if you're still watching this, remember, you never know who you're helping when you open your door or your heart. If you believe that kindness can change the world, hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe for more true stories that prove humanity still rides strong, one act of courage at a time.